Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to paint a lovely spring daffodil. I was playing around with some supplies. I had some leftover gouache on my palette yesterday and I painted up a couple of these cards, and I realized I had done a tutorial similar to this one already, but I thought I haven't done a daffodil. I've done a daffodil in watercolor pencils, but not in watercolors, and I thought it would be a lot of fun. I think I will actually put a little watercolor pencil accent on the daffodil, but anyways, this is the inspiration piece. So I wanted to share something else that I've shared before, but I think it's really worthwhile if you can find these at a used bookstore or on Amazon used, is these artist photo reference books. They used to be published by Northlight Books, and I picked this one up used from, it was on Amazon from the seller Thrift Books for a few dollars last year, and I actually was able to get the whole collection, but I really like it because they give you different versions of, like, there's almost every flower you can think of in here, and they give you different versions so you can kind of see different ways you could go about drawing or painting it. And there are some tutorials in there as well, so I just thought it was kind of fun and was something worth recommending. I'm going to go ahead and actually grab a watercolor pencil while I'm at it because I think I might want to use it at the end, and I've already prepared my watercolor greeting card by just clipping it to a scrap of cardboard. And these are just the Strathmore watercolor greeting cards. I buy them in bulk because they're just so handy for using for a quick card, and they're very easy. So we're actually going to start off with a flat brush today. And this brush, actually I just got this yesterday. I ordered this set of faux squirrel brushes from Amazon from the company Zen Art, and they're regular, the set is regular $25, and they had a $5 off coupon. I'm going to use these for a few paintings and see what I think and then do a review, but I will link to them in case the coupon's still on and you want to take a chance. But I thought they'd be kind of fun to use. So what we're going to start off today is we're going to do some petals using a side loading or double loading technique, and I'm going to use a couple of yellows. I'm going to use a lemon yellow, and you can use whatever brand of paint you like. These happen to be Holbein because I hadn't used this Holbein palette in a while, and I'd kind of actually like to use it up and then maybe put my Holbein paints in some half pans. But anyway, I hadn't used them in a while, so I thought it'd be fun. I'm going to be working on dry watercolor paper, and Holbein paint doesn't have oxgall, so it doesn't move around that much, and I thought that might be handy for the technique I'm going to do today. So what I'm going to do is, my brush is, I've just cleaned it, it's clean, and I'm just going to blot it to remove the excess water. So I blot it on one side, and then I'm going to pick up the like cadmium yellow. I don't know if it's cadmium yellow or gamboge, but it's your warm yellow on one side. I'm going to do the cool yellow on the other, which looks like a Hansa yellow light or a lemon. So I have two colors on this, and they're going to be pretty light. And I'm going to make the petals for my daffodil using two strokes. I'm going to press and twist, and that's going to give me one half of the petal. I'm going to flip my brush over, I'm going to press and twist and get the other half of my petal, and hopefully my hand wasn't in the way. So it's kind of the same way we do a rose leaf. And if you want more information on how I paint flowers, I do have a kind of no drawing required watercolor floral workshop, and I'll link that below in case you're interested. Now I'm not sure. Okay. I had to test it to see what side I had, it was the outside, because I have the darker color on the outside. So I'm going to think of it as like I'm dividing a pie into 3 pieces. Okay, so I'm going to do another one here. Daffodils have 6 petals. So I find that it's easier to do 3 and then put petals on the inside. Now, you'll notice that I have kind of a broken edge where I got the texture of the paper. I like that. But if you don't like that, you want your brush a little bit wetter. Now I need a little bit more paint, I can tell, so I'm going to put a little bit more in here. Now I have to say, it took me 4 minutes to paint that daffodil, and I'm just wondering how long it's going to take me to teach the same technique. It takes me usually twice as long to teach a technique, but I figured that's going to be a nice quick warm-up sketch. So if you're kind of in a busy season of life and you don't have hours to spend painting, maybe you just have, a quiet 15 minutes while you're, acting as a caregiver or, waiting to run the kids to school. You can still create something really pretty and meaningful. Because what's more meaningful than painting up something on a watercolor card and then mailing it to somebody? It's such a wonderful way to keep those friendships going when we tend to let things slip through the cracks as women. As we get older, we sometimes let things fall away that we shouldn't. Okay, I'm going to put a petal here. And like I said, if you don't want the rough edges, just wet your brush more, or you can just gently go over those petals and you can fill in the gaps if you want to. Now this is a very inexpensive wood pulp paper, so it will, you know, dry pretty quickly and sometimes unevenly, so you might end up with some blooms. It's hard to see with watercolor what's on what side of the brush. You can overlap your petals too. And I want one more over here. And I find it really helpful to turn my brush as I'm going, to turn my paper as I'm going rather. And you can have a softer tip on the bristles if you, on the petals if you want to. But if you can't do it in one stroke, just dab it and then you can fill in the tooth. So it's completely up to you the kind of look that you're going after. And now for the center, I am going to get out a couple different colors here. I'm going to make myself a puddle of, actually, you know what? I think I'm just going to take a little bit of this. Let me see what that color looks like. This looks like a crimson. I'm going to mix that in with my lemon that I used for the petals. Let's see what we get there. It looks a little of that cadmium red. So we'll get kind of like an orangey color there. Okay, now I'm going to do, whoops, knocking over my water bottle. Now I'm going to do a corner of my brush in that, that darker color. I am going to paint the center of this flower. I'm going to paint it kind of like it's looking right at us. And I am going to wiggle my brush and go kind of in a circle, wiggling my brush. To get the trumpet of the flower. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of that cad yellow in the center. And then I'm actually going to grab my credit card scraper tool. And I'm going to scrape in some little details, some little vines. Now remember I said I wanted to try something with a watercolor pencil? I thought it'd be really kind of cool just to, maybe I'll go a little darker actually, to rim this and get a really nice edge. Now I can throw in a few veins like that. Now I'm looking at my photos of the daffodils and I can see there are little stamens on the inside and they tend to be yellow, but I think a bright yellow isn't really going to show up. So I'm going to try, and I'm going to first try a white watercolor pencil. I don't know if that's going to show up, and if not, I'm going to go with a lime green. Yeah, that's not really going to show up. It will show up a little bit, but not that much. I can blot it a little bit. Oh, that does help. And let's go with a little bit of lime green there for a little bit of accent. Now I'm going to skip to a round brush here, and these are wooden handled brushes, so I got to make sure I don't leave them sitting in the water. That's one of my bad habits. And I am going to grab some sap green. And my paper is drying up a lot faster today than it was yesterday. I am going to put my stem. And I'm also going to put in a few leaves. And think of your leaves as a way to add to your composition. I'm going to add a little bit of blue to that. Let's see, what blue do I want? I think I want like a little bit of, let me see what this color is. It's so dark and I haven't used it. Oh, that's like a black. I don't want that. Oh, right here. Let's take a little phthalo blue. I'm going to blot my brush off because it's really, It's really juicy and I don't want to cause a bunch of backwashes in there. Now, because Holbein does not contain oxgall, it's not going to really flow like other brands. But because of that, we were able to go right in there with that pink color and not have problems. So, you know, just you can use that information to kind of figure out what kind of paint you want to use. Now that's really pretty just as is. I don't think you need to do much more to it, but if you want to do some accenting, you can. Now a brush that's really nice for accenting is a liner. So I can go in and I can grab any of these petal flower colors here and I could go in and throw an edge. I could throw like a wiggly line if I want it to look like it has a little bit more movement and life. These nice lyrical, almost like just sketchy kind of lines. And I can go in and I can accent the center if I want to, maybe make it look like it's a little more turned than it is. Can add a little bit of that green in the center. Give it a little bit of shadow in there maybe with the green. And because the colors aren't going to flow that much, it'll give me that little bit of control that I need. And really that's all I would do to this. I'm just going to keep it very simple. And I am going to sign my initials. And just put a year on there. And that's all there is to it. You can add spatter to it. You can do whatever you like. Just to show you the gouache example again, that actually had a little metallic gouache in there, but it's a lot paler because gouache is opaque and I added quite a bit of water to it to make it transparent. Pardon the indulgence, but I decided I wanted to do another type of daffodil as well, and this is the version here from the side. I thought that would be really fun. If you don't want to see that one, then you don't have to watch, obviously. I wasn't intending on doing both, but I thought, gosh, that'd be just kind of fun to paint. So I'm going to start off, and I also want to use this big cat's tongue brush. I'm going to start off with some warm yellow. I'm going to add quite a bit of water to it, so I have a very inky consistency. And I'm going to start with the top and bottom petals that we can see. I just think that a brush like this is just kind of fun for like giving us that, just very random, natural look. Now I'm going to go in with the lemon. A cat's tongue brush is like a filbert, so it's got a flat ferrule, but the bristles come to a point. And I'm just going to bring that out from here. Bring the kind of throat of it out. And then I'm going to go back in with the cad yellow, maybe just pick up a smidgen of the crimson. And give it the kind of ruffle on the cone, and I'm also going to go in a little bit more of that here on the edge. Okay, so now I'm going to, since I got this kind of reddish mix on here, I'm going to grab a little bit of sap green so I can neutralize that and make myself kind of a grayish color. For the husk, there's like a kind of like a onion skinny papery bit on the back. Basically, just keep mixing until you get mud. And ooh, that's lyrical. I like that. Now this will have a bit of texture and wrinkliness to it, so if you want to grab out your credit card scraper while it's still wet and put some lines in there, you can, because that would look very authentic. You can go in and dab a little bit more color in there if you want those lines to show up more. Oh, love it. I love it. And now we're just going to connect it with the stem. Doing this all with this brush. This is fun. Okay, so now I'm going to take this sap green, and I'm just using the tip of that brush, and I'm going to connect the trumpet part of the daffodil to the stem like that. And I want those colors kind of wick together. And then the rest of the stem is going to come out from the bottom, just like that. There. Now if we want, we can add some accents with a watercolor pencil. Oh, that's just so elegant. I think it's just so like, elegant, lovely. Just as it is, but if you want, you can add just a little bit of accenting with a watercolor pencil. You don't really have to, or let it dry and do it with your liner brush and your watercolor paint. Oh, I don't think I like that actually. I'm just going to go in with a damp brush and soften that a little bit. I don't really like that. I liked it better before when I said less. Sometimes less is more, folks. Oh, I love it. I don't know if you like it, but I do. It's fun. I'm going to sign my name. You can add some grasses if you want to. I'm just going to do my initials and call it a day. There we go. Okay, so there we go. A little 4-minute addition onto that video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please, again, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And until next time, happy crafting.